Hi, I'm Mika Patterson, and I'm here with Laura Washington, and she has graciously agreed to show us how to do container gardening. It's a great option if you don't want to do a full garden, correct?
Correct, absolutely. Container gardening is a great option because it allows for gardeners to contain their garden in a small space. It also allows for people who may not have full sun in the front of their house but would like to have a container gardening. They could take the container and put it at the back of the house and put plants in the container that thrive off of full sun, and they'll get the full sun for 5 or 6 hours. And another reason why I like container gardening versus traditional gardening is because people who may have some limitations, such as getting down on their knees or getting back up and things of that nature, they can put their garden in a container and sit it on a tabletop. Okay, so there's several different types of container gardening that you can do to make your home, your table look beautiful. So we have two different containers here. We have just a square standard container from the dollar store, and then we also have a round container. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that there are rocks down in the container.
Okay.
You want to make sure that there's nice sized rocks to help with the drainage of the soil. So if you put a good amount of rocks in the container, then it'll allow for the soil to drain properly, just in case you overwater it or things like that, or it rains really heavy, the water will go right through. So your container is almost filled. So let me fill my container. And what we have here is we have compost from our garden.
Okay.
This is directly from the community garden, and this is part of last year's waste from the garden, so we turn it into soil.
Okay.
So we fill our container, and then we just make sure we take out any large twigs or sticks or rocks, because we don't need that in our containers.
And why aren't you filling it up completely?
We're not going to fill it up completely just yet because we need to allow space for our plants.
Okay.
So our plants came with dirt, so we're going to make sure that we leave space in order to be able to plant it, and then we'll continue to fill it with dirt if need be when we're finished.
Okay. And what do we have here?
Okay, what we have here is Thai basil. This is a basil plant. It's an edible plant. It can be used in salads. It can be used in dressings. You can chop it up and put it on chicken when you bake it. There's so many different uses for Thai basil. It has a very savory flavor.
Okay. And so basil is actually a great option to flavor your foods without using maybe like a lot of sodium.
Exactly, exactly. And then also we have a spicy basil, spicy globe basil. So we have two different kinds. This one's very savory, and this one's got a kick. It's very spicy. So
Yeah,
you
I
could
like
put
spicy,
this,
so
yes.
I would want the spicy.
Perfect. You could put this in dressings. You could put this in salsa. It definitely adds a nice spicy flavor. You can combine them both, and your meal tastes extra special.
Okay.
I always opt for herbs before I opt for salt.
Okay.
Salt. Okay, so let's get started.
Okay.
So the first thing we're going to do is get our plant and remove this biodegradable pot that it came in. So you
Okay.
can use the scissors over there,
Okay.
and I'll use these shears, and you just want to cut away the pot that it came in.
I just want everyone to know that I am not a gardener. So if I can do this, it shows you how simple and easy this is.
Yes, it's very easy. And it's a fun project, definitely, for the kids. It's a way to
yeah.
teach them about organic gardening, how to grow your own food, how to care for the environment. This is a great opportunity for kids to help out when you're planting.
Yeah.
All right, so the first thing we want to do is just kind of create space. And since these are the edible plants, we'll put them in the middle.
Okay.
And you just want to put it down in the pot, in the dirt, till it's level with the dirt.
With the rest of the dirt. Okay.
Yes, so once you get the basil planted, which I moved mine over to a corner because I'm going to make room for these other plants.
Than mine.
That's okay.
Yeah,
you know what? Let's see. Yeah, it's not quite deep enough.
Okay.
Let's put it off to the side.
Okay.
Sometimes you need that stability of the
Okay,
wall of the planter until we get all the plants in there and get them situated in water.
Okay.
So now you've got space to put two little pretty plants there.
Okay.
All right, so now this is just an annual begonia. This is not edible. So what I would recommend for a beginning gardener is that if you're unsure what you plant, put all your edibles in one container and your non-edibles in another.
Okay.
But I'm familiar with some of these plants, so I mix them all up because I like to see a little bit of color in with my herbs.
Okay.
So With the begonias, this is an annual plant, so this is not going to grow back next year.
Okay.
The basil is also an annual, which usually some people take it indoors and they can grow it the next year.
Okay.
They grow it all year indoors and then put it back outside. So now you can take a begonia and dig out space for your begonia, and you can put it in off to the side. You may have to put a few holes in the bottom of it,
Okay.
but you can repurpose almost any plastic container for gardening.
I've seen people use like the juice cartons or
Yes.
the milk cartons for it.
Yes, a lot of people use that to start their seedlings. So that's a great exercise, again, for children to learn how to start a garden from scratch, from seed, how to sow a seed. So now, great job. You have your begonia in there, and that's planted.
I did a good job.
That's awesome. So now you could actually put another one in here and then have room for a marigold, or you can put 2 marigolds. It's really up to you.
Okay.
That's the other fun thing about container and gardening.
Just kind of arrange it to how you feel.
Yes,
fit.
yes, exactly. I go for color. Marigolds they're very beginner gardener friendly. So I like to use the marigolds.
I like anything that doesn't need a lot of water because I feel so guilty.
That's right. So this way you can be guilt-free. Instead of using, some kind of repellent that may not be good for the environment or good for human consumption, you can use natural things like marigolds, and marigolds will do the trick. Okay,
wow. Smart tip, okay. Because, if I'm going to be planting basil, I don't want the insects to be eating it.
Exactly.
And so I know we're doing flowers and basil today, but what's kind of some other common things that you can grow in containers?
You can grow just about any flower, indoor or outdoor flowers. You can also grow strawberries. They have certain strawberry pots that have holes built in on the sides. So if you're a strawberry fan, you can buy 1 strawberry plant, put it in this pot, and the shoots will grow out the holes in the pot. There's also plenty of vegetables, petite vegetables that you can grow in a container. If you want to use a larger container, that's better for vegetables. You would want to use a nice size container. I always say like a good warm hug for vegetables. So if you want to grow tomatoes, make sure your container is about this big to give the tomatoes room to grow. Is that you end up paying pennies on the dollar for the vegetables that you would normally buy in the store. So it will cost you maybe $2.99 at the local nursery to buy a tomato plant, which you pay the same price for 1 carton of tomatoes, but you'll average, you could average easily 10, 15 containers of tomato plants by the end of the season.
That's very good, because a lot of people say they don't eat healthy or buy the fruits and vegetables because it's expensive at the store. But this way, you're spending less if you just grow your own items.
And the reason we're leaving just a little bit of space between each plant, because each plant will continue to grow. So with container gardening, one thing you want to be careful of is that you don't put in too many plants in the container to make it look filled right away. Because if you do that, when they grow, they'll be crowded out and they'll end up turning brown or dying anyway. So we want to make sure that we leave plenty space for each plant to flourish in our container.
It will fill eventually. Don't put it all in there at once.
Exactly. So do you think you're all planted? Oh, that looks great. That looks great. Your first container garden.
I did it.
All right. So now next we'll just take and we're just going to add enough water to just kind of help everything set. And watch, because this is a little leaky, but we'll add a little bit of water. And we'll just help the plants get settled in. And you did a better job than I did.
I saw you do it first, so I knew what not to do.
Much better job. So now the only other thing I would do with this container is kind of clean it up. After we get done gardening, we always want to make sure we clean up our containers and our plants, make sure they're still safe and in a little happy home. And it can go on a table, it can go on a stool, it can go anywhere. Yes, exactly. What an easy way to garden.
Would you water these, or
All depending on the weather. Because we gave them a good water now, and the compost is always a little moist. So I would probably start watering this right now with the way the weather is today, about 3 times a week. Yeah, just a light water.
Okay, and it's not every day, so you can't say you forgot every
Yes.
day to water it like I would.
Yes. Now, when the weather heats up, you're going to want to water it a little bit every day. And the cost of the plants was less than $10 total for all the plants. So we had the plants. Gardeners from this area can feel free to come to the garden and get free compost. It's organic compost. There's no pesticides. There's no special, scientifically created fertilizers in the compost. So they're welcome to come by the garden and pick up some dirt. And you can always harass a friend, family member, or neighbor for a container that you can garden in. We have several plots available still here at 423 Chestnut Street. And we also have plenty of plots available at our new garden located at 615 Chestnut Street. So that garden is well underway. They are putting in paving today, and the garden will be ready to grow the weekend after Mother's Day.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I'm so excited that I did my first container garden.
Yay!
Like I said,
Congratulations!
You can do it. Any questions about gardening, you can contact Laura. You can go to our website at www.pottsmark.com/fitforlife. Thank you.
Thank you.